Exclusive contract novel from Feilu Novel Network. 3 Kingdoms. 800 Snow Dragon Cavalry saves sister in Law Diao Chan traveling through the 3 Kingdoms period, becoming the younger brother of Lvbu, inheriting the power of the hegemonic ghosts and gods at the beginning, leading 800 Snow Dragon Cavalry to forcefully save sister in Law Diao Chan.Cao Cao. The second brother of Lu Bu is so terrifying. Yuan Shao said, such an unparalleled general is more than 10 times better than Yan Liang's literary and ugly character. Yuan Shu. I beg General Lv not to kill me. Guan Yu. Big brother, your second brother can't be invincible in the world anymore. Zhang Fei. How could a servant with 3 surnames have such a great younger brother? Sun Tzu said, indeed, the Little Overlord is no match for the True Overlord. In the turbulent times of the 3 Kingdoms. Let's see me, Lu Fengnian, riding on the 3 Kingdoms and dominating the world. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. Does Lu Bu still have a younger brother? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Wuyuan County. Zhouyuan County. On the edge of a pool of clear water, there is a young man in a white robe who is 18 years old and lives in a hut. The young man has been fishing by the pond for over a decade. Alas, it has been 18 years since I traveled to this 3 Kingdoms world in a daze. I inexplicably became Lv Fengnian, the second younger brother of Lvbu. I thought I could make a name for myself here, but I didn't expect this pit-father system to require me to practice and clock in here until the task is completed before I can leave the mountain. Today is the last day of the mission, and it's almost time for the young master to show off his skills. At this moment, a cavalry general galloped towards him. Lv Fengnian looked up and saw the newcomer clearly, unable to help but feel puzzled. Isn't this my elder brother's legitimate confidant? How did he come here? Did something happen to my elder brother? This person walked up to Lv Fengnian, got off his horse, and knelt down to offer a letter. Report to the young master. Great things are not good. The Lord is besieged by Cao Cao's army in Xiapi city, and his situation is precarious. I hereby order my humble position to come and seek help. Upon hearing these words, Lv Fengnian, who was fishing by the pond, suddenly stood up and threw away the fishing rod. How unreasonable! The Cao bandits are so rampant. At this moment, Lv Fengnian remembered the system prompt sound in his mind. Ding! Congratulations to the master for completing the check that I in task. Task reward. 800 Snow Dragon Cavalry. A black Zhou horse treading on the snow. A sky dragon breaking city halberd. A set of 7 seas dragon armor. Inheriting the power of the Western Chu king's ghosts and gods, the king's martial spirit body. Lu Fengnian was overjoyed, damn it, for a whole 18 years. Do you know how I have lived these 18 years? Fishing and practicing martial arts every day are driving me crazy. The reward for these 18 years of tasks is quite generous, which slightly compensates for the young master's youth. Do you want to summon the Snow Dragon Cavalry immediately? Summon now. This Snow Dragon Cavalry is a direct subordinate of the Northern Liang King Su Shao in the Snow World, known as the Invincible Heavy Cavalry in the world. The Iron Cavalry of Bailiang is the best under heaven, and the Snow Dragon Cavalry is the best in Bailiang. Lv Fengnian instructed the system to summon the Snow Dragon Cavalry, and soon saw a group of cavalry with white robes and horses slowly approaching not far away. The Snow Dragon Cavalry is neatly arranged in front. These are absolutely loyal to Lu Fengnian and can only serve Lu Fengnian's absolutely elite heavy cavalry. What a majestic cavalry! Young master, what kind of unit is this? The cavalry general who came to deliver the message asked in surprise. Lv Fengnian smiled and said, Big Snow Dragon Cavalry Camp. The cavalry general's heart was shaken by such a majestic name. What a majestic cavalry. LV Fengnian has been practicing martial arts for over a decade, and now he has inherited the power of the Bawang Ghost God and the Bawang Martial God body. In terms of personal combat power, he is probably unbeatable in the world. Oh, the tyrant of Western Chu. Regardless of official or unofficial history, it is the ceiling of individual combat capabilities. Feather's divine bravery is unparalleled for eternity. Besides, there are top-notch equipment such as the Seven Seas Dragon Armor and the Sky Dragon Breaking City Halberd. It's truly a reward that I endured for 18 years and didn't disappoint anyone. Ding! Unlock the next task. Go to Xiapi City. Without further ado, LV Fengnian, who had lived here for 18 years, was already suffocated and immediately headed straight to Xiapi City with 800 heavy Snow Dragon Cavalry. At the same time. Xiapi City. White Gate Tower. After months of continuous fighting, Lu Bu has now been pushed to the brink by Cao Cao. Knowing that the situation was over and unable to turn the tide, LV Bu had already ordered his flying cavalry to deliver a family letter overnight 3 days ago. Humph. The world only knows that I, Lu Bu, am invincible horizontally, but they don't know that my second brother, Fengnian, is even more unparalleled in divine bravery. You will definitely regret it. Then, with a fierce expression in his eyes, he rushed up to the city tower and guarded the city alone. For 3 consecutive days, Lu Bu finally felt physically exhausted and fell asleep from exhaustion. Taking advantage of this opportunity, rebellious generals such as Song Xian, Wei Su, and Ho Cheng, who had already been estranged, joined forces to bind him and then surrendered to Cao Cao. Lu Bu, who was brought before Cao Cao, tried his best to roar. Cao Mengda! Cao Mengda! Cao Cao, dressed in handsome armor and wearing a red robe, squinted at the once invincible LV Bu. Mengda, we have no grudges, why should we engage in such a big fight? Back then, when I was among my colleagues, I personally gifted you a horse. Have you forgotten? Please raise your hand and spare my life, Mengda. If we cooperate, with Mengda's literary and military strategies, coupled with my invincible bravery, why worry about not achieving hegemony? Cao Cao's slightly narrowed eyes suddenly lit up. Other begging for mercy nonsense can be ignored, but Lu Bu's last sentence touched on Cao Cao's heart. If I really have such an unparalleled general under Cao Mengda, who can stop all the heroes in the world. In this way, attacking the city and pulling out the fortress will definitely be disadvantageous. At a glance, one person beside Cao Cao could tell that he was somewhat tempted. This person has ape arms up to his knees, a pair of big ears that are very eye-catching, and his eyes are lowered, although he is actually looking around. Upon seeing this person, Lu Bu seemed to have grabbed the last straw to save his life. Xuanda! Xuanda, save me! In the past, you had no way to go, but I took you in. And there was also the grace of shooting halberds from the Yuan Gate. Xuanda, save my life. It's okay if LV Bu doesn't mention it. As soon as he mentioned this, Lu Bei's face was instantly gloomy and couldn't shake it off. His hatred ignited a raging anger in his heart. If it weren't for your ungrateful behavior, how could I, Lu Bei, a noble member of the royal family, have stayed under someone's protection several times? So Lu Bei remained calm and approached Cao Cao, bowing his head and saying, Cao Gong, I have something to ask for. Cao Cao was taken aback. Did Lu Xuanda really want to plead for Lu Bu? Xuanda has any requests, but it's okay to say so. Lu Bei lowered his eyes and slowly said, Lu Bu once had 3 adoptive fathers, one was Ding Yuan, the second was Dong Zhua, and the third was Wang Yun. These 3 trusted Lu Bu very much and entrusted him with important responsibilities. Now, Lu Bei earnestly requests Duke Cao to accept Lu Bu as his adoptive son and become his 4th adoptive father. At first glance, Cao Cao was taken aback and immediately regained his composure, laughing uncontrollably. Pai Fu Lu Bu still looked at Cao Cao with a hopeful expression, waiting for his release. Cao Cao looked at Lu Bu and laughed, haha, Lu Bu, did you hear that? Xuanda said that whoever becomes your adoptive father will not die well, and the end will be desolate. Lu Bu was furious upon hearing this. Big ear thief. You're despicable. If it weren't for me, could you have today? Big ear thief, how can you forget your kindness? Lu Bei pretended not to hear. Someone, drag Lu Bu down and hang him. Cao Cao stopped speaking and directly ordered the killing of Lu Bu. On the other side, Diao Chan, who was escorted over together, cried bitterly. Wen Ho. Before Lu Bu's death, he heard Cao Cao shouting, please go ahead and rest assured. I will treat Diao Chan well. Lu Bu died without closing his eyes. Chapter 2. Sister. Law, I'm here. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Cao Cao looked at the heartbroken Diao Chan with a pitiful expression on his face, ready to step forward and wipe his tears. At this moment, Xiahou Yuan stopped and said, Big brother, this woman has killed Dong Zhuo and Lu Bu successively. She is actually a mischievous and demonic woman. Big brother should not indulge in momentary pleasure and ruin the cause. At the same time, many confidants such as Cao Ren and Sun Yu rushed to advise. Cao Cao finally woke up in a flash. You're all right, this woman must not be left. Someone, drag her down and kill her. Cao Cao ordered to kill Jiao Cicada with a heart-wrenching expression on his face. Two small soldiers stepped forward and dragged the Diao Chan out. There were already swordsmen waiting at the guillotine. At the guillotine, besides Diao Chan, there were actually 3 people, Zhang Liao, Gao Shun, and Chen Gong, who were determined not to surrender, waiting to be executed. I never thought that Lu Bu would be notorious, but there were still talented generals willing to die for him. Diao Chan watched with her own eyes as LV Bu was hanged, already in a daze, almost unconscious, and without even struggling, Lu Bei was placed on the guillotine. Marquis 1. Diao Chan is here to accompany you now. Just as the axe wielder was about to strike, a long halberd pierced his chest with lightning speed. Who dares to kill my sister? Law. Suddenly encountering a huge change, everyone heard the sound and saw a fierce general dressed in black and gold armor, with a black divine horse under his crotch, rushing all the way. Behind it, hundreds of pure white horses ride with a stunning momentum, rushing like a white tide. Cao Cao looked around with a surprised expression on his face and said, is it the white horse Yi Tsong of Gongsun Zan? Lu Bei also said with a puzzled expression, isn't it Bo Gui who came here? The heavy white horse behind him is slightly different from Bai Ma Yi. Who is it? Chao Hong stepped forward and shouted loudly, who dares to break into the formation? Report your name. The white-robed general who had rushed to Diao Chan's side, rescued him, and retrieved the Tianlong broken city halberd shouted loudly, I am LV Fengnian, the second brother of LV Fengxian. Today I'm going to take my brother and sister. Law Diao Chan away. Whoever blocks me will die. LV Fengnian's voice reached everyone's ears clearly. Lu Fengnian. Lu Bu's second younger brother, why have you never heard of it? Cao Cao and others all felt puzzled. The so-called Lu Bu among people, red rabbits among horses, is a well-known praise for Lu Bu. Lu Bu has been famous for a long time, there is no reason why his second brother is so unknown. Not to mention Cao Cao, even everyone on the guillotine looked surprised. Uncle is really the second younger brother of the Wen Ho family. Diao Chan couldn't believe it, after all, Lu Bu, the second brother, had never heard of him before. Lu Fengnian smiled gently and said, Sister-in-law, please take it easy. I am Lu Fengnian, the second younger brother of Lu Bu, who is just like a fake replacement. I'm here today, no one can hurt you at all. A few days ago, I received a letter from my elder brother, only to find out that he was in a desperate situation. I personally led the Snow Dragon Cavalry camp to assist, but I didn't want to come a step late. Speaking of this, Diao Chan's heart was twisted like a knife, but seeing such a majestic LV Fengnian, he finally felt a little relieved. Since my uncle is present, please also rescue Mr. Gongtai, as well as General Zhang Liao and General Gao Shun. They are all loyal and brave people who vow to never surrender to the Chao bandits. Diao Chan looked at the three people next to her who were tied up in various ways and said. Upon hearing this, LV Fengnian looked over and laughed, saying, "Good. It's rare for my elder brother to accept such a righteous person. Today, I, LV Fengnian, saved him together." As he spoke, he casually cut off the ropes on everyone's bodies. Three people bowed together. General Xia LV's life. Saving grace. The crowd, who were originally heartbroken, saw Lu Fengnian, the second brother of Lu Bu, and their fighting spirit reignited. On the White Gate Tower, Cao Cao's face darkened and he said, "How could that be so unreasonable? Why did Lu Bu ever have a second younger brother?" Xiahou Dun next to him shouted loudly, "Big brother, what do you care about him? He dares to attack our army's camp with just a few hundred people, he's completely unaware." Chao Hong also laughed and said, "It's ridiculous that this person dares to rush in alone. He is so arrogant, and today he must die." Su Huang, holding a stone axe, approached and begged, "Chao Gong, don't worry. Let me go and take this hut." Cao Cao's face returned to normal and he smiled arrogantly, "Not bad, LV Bu has already died in my hands, and there is not another LV Fengnian. Gong Ming, go ahead and behead this son, strengthen my military power, and I will reward him heavily." Su Huang was ordered to step onto the warhorse and charge over with a team of people and horses. The people on the guillotine saw Su Huang leading troops and their faces changed. However, LV Fengnian's expression remained unchanged. With a whistle, a divine horse with white hooves like snow and a black body like ink rushed towards him, and in the blink of an eye, it ran towards LV Fengnian. Without much words, LV Fengnian stepped onto his warhorse and charged towards Su Huang. "General, be careful. Su Huang is a fierce general under the command of Chao Thief, quite brave." Zhang Liao and Gao Shun quickly reminded. However, LV Fengnian had no fear at all. In the moment he clashed with Su Huang, the heavenly dragon broken city halberd in his hand was waving, howling with wind. Su Huang's stone axe was shaken and flew away just as it touched him, and Su Huang himself fell off his horse and fell heavily to the ground. The surrounding Chao army were all scared out of their wits by this scene. General Su Huang's military prowess is impressive, yet he is not the enemy of this person's unity. If it weren't for the soldiers and horses he was leading, Su Huang would have been beheaded by LV Fengnian with one halberd. The powerful and domineering power of Haosheng is even more impressive than that of Wen Ho, even with a skillful halberd. Zhang Liao exclaimed in surprise. Chen Gong and Gao Shun nodded in agreement. Above the White Gate Tower, Cao Cao was greatly surprised. Defeat Su Huang in just one turn, and I'm afraid we might as well give up more than LV Bu with such bravery. Everyone else was surprised. Liu Bei's face was solemn, but Guan Yu and Zhang Fei's eyes lit up, looking at LV Fengnian, who claimed to be the second brother of LV Bu, full of war intent. At this moment, the 800 Snow Dragon Cavalry had already arrived. The military is majestic and the momentum is shocking. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 3. Snow Dragon Cavalry Camp. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At the moment when the Snow Dragon Cavalry Camp arrived, everyone's gaze was drawn to it. Although there are only 800 brave cavalry, it is truly impressive to feel the pressure of an army of 80,000. What a majestic cavalry! It's not inferior to my tiger and leopard cavalry. Cao Cao looked at the 800 Snow Dragon Cavalry with a surprised expression on his face. Cao Chun leads the tiger and leopard cavalry to battle, we must take them down. All generals must cooperate in combat and never let go of any soldier or soldier. Delying. Downstairs from the White Gate, Chen Gong saw the situation and loudly said, "General, the Chao army is strong and cannot stay here for a long time. Please quickly break through and leave." Lu Fengnian, who had already slaughtered all the troops in front of him, restrained his horse and turned his hooves, nodded and said, "Sir, you're right. Snow Dragon Rider, follow me to break through." 800 white horses rode together and shouted loudly, "Kill." Lu Fengnian grabbed the Jiao cicada, hugged the horse, and protected it in front of him. "The situation is urgent. Fengnian has offended, sister.in.law, don't blame me." Jiao Chan's face turned slightly red and she let out a soft hum. LV Fengnian immediately took the lead in charging away. Chen Gong and his 3 companions each seized the horses of the Chao army and followed the breakout. Chao Chun's tiger and leopard cavalry finally rushed out. 800 Snow Dragon Cavalry are fearless, changing their formation and launching a charge together. The army is like a sharp arrow, unstoppable. Su Chu, Li Dian, and other light cavalry charged forward, and several Chaoing generals who were blocking ahead joined forces to intercept LV Fengnian. LV Fengnian's face turned cold, and he held the Sky Dragon Breaking City halberd in his hand, blocking the left and right blocks, preventing the generals from approaching. "Just rely on you, you also want to block my way, I don't know if you're alive or dead." Previously, considering the Diao Chan in his arms, he was too restrained to let go. Now, LV Fengnian has become angry and didn't want to take advantage of his sister.in.law. With all his strength, the pressure on the generals has suddenly increased, and they have all retreated, leaving no one to stop them. Hu Qi Su Chu is the #1 fierce general of Chao camp. At this moment, as he watched LV Fengnian holding a Diao Chan in his arms and fighting back and forth with himself and others, he suddenly felt a sense of shame on his face. At the same time, it also reminded him of the time when General Dian Wei was still alive. He had 2 brothers, Xiahou Yuan and Xiahou Dun, along with Li Dian, Lu Jin, and Dian Wei and his 6 generals. This formation surrounded a LV Bu and allowed him to retreat unscathed. At the thought of this, Su Chu became extremely ruthless. As a general, he was still known as the first fierce general of the Chao camp, and his achievements were simply a great shame. Back then, when Lu Bu fled, now facing Lu Bu's younger brother, does history have to repeat itself? Absolutely impossible. So Su Chu risked his life to wield his sword and slash fiercely, turning a blind eye to the heavenly dragon broken city halberd in LV Fengnian's chest. LV Fengnian was slightly surprised. Su Chu was indeed as fierce as rumored, fearless of death, and obsessed with martial arts. No wonder he had the name of Tiger Idiot. If you want to risk your life, Su Chu is not qualified enough. With a sneer from LV Fengnian, he blocked Su Chu's sword with a horizontal halberd, and suddenly exerted force. Su Chu, who was fully exerting his strength, was so shocked that his tiger's mouth cracked open, and his sword almost slipped out of his hand. Seeing Su Chu so frustrated, the rest of the generals were even more afraid to confront LV Fengnian's sharpness. Li Dian couldn't dodge and was knocked down by LV Fengnian with 1 halberd and a horse. General Xiahou Dun, who was originally a fierce and fearless warrior, was knocked off his helmet by LV Fengnian with a heavy halberd, his mind buzzing, and his sword was cut off. Xiahou Yuan drew his bow and arrows, ready to attack. Unexpectedly, there was no need for LV Fengnian to respond. 2 heavy Snow Dragon riders forcibly interrupted him. Xiahou Yuan was furious and couldn't kill the 2 riders. Instead, he was forced to retreat step by other heavy Snow Dragon riders. What a strange cavalry, how cleverly they cooperate. That's right. Until now, none of the Snow Dragon Cavalry have died in battle. On the contrary, they were hailed by Cao Cao as invincible tiger and leopard cavalry, and fell many times under the charge of the Snow Dragon Cavalry. Looking at LV Fengnian, who was guarding Diao Chan while facing the generals of Chao camp. He was like a heavenly god descending to earth. This son is simply a reincarnation of Lu Bu. No. Even Lu Bu couldn't have achieved such a level. Above the White Gate Tower, Cao Cao's eyes were piercing with pleasure. Even General Guan Zhang, who was originally full of fighting spirit, was shocked. Second brother, these three family members' slaves have different character traits, but their fighting skills are really inherited from their families. Even Zhang Fei, who has always been disobedient to heaven and earth, is now sincerely admiring. Guan Yu's face was solemn and silent. Is there anyone in the world who can rival such a person with extraordinary courage? The generals of Chao Ying were defeated one after another and dared not pursue them anymore. The Tiger and Leopard Cavalry formation was also torn open by the Snow Dragon Cavalry, and under the leadership of Fengnian, they made a strong breakthrough. It is lamentable that Chao Ying almost poured out his troops, but could only watch as Fengnian left with the Snow Dragon Cavalry. Above the White Gate Tower, Cao Cao's face was gloomy as water, staring fixedly at the white-robed army that had gone far away. Fengnian. Cao Cao gritted his teeth and spat out 3 words. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 4. Conquering the Old Army and Opening the Campaign. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. The group of Fengnian, who broke out of the encirclement, stopped in a dense forest. In this battle, the Snow Dragon Cavalry camp can be said to show its divine power, with a strong force of 800 people charging into the formation of 5,000 Tiger and Leopard Cavalry, without falling behind at all. Not only did he kill over 100 tigers, leopards, and cavalry, but none of them died on his own side. At this moment, Chen Gong walked forward and said, "The young master is so young that he has such courage. He is even more powerful than Marquis Wen. He is truly a tiger without a dog. I wonder what the young master's next plan is." As a traveler, Fengnian naturally had a clear understanding of this Chen Palace. The stars of the 3 kingdoms are shining brightly, and Cao Cao's subordinates are well-rounded in both literature and martial arts, gathering a group of talented individuals. Chen Gongtai was able to help Bu several times and make Cao Cao suffer, which shows his high talent. If it weren't for Chen Gong's insistence on seeking death, how could Cao Cao have been willing to miss such a talented person? Chen Gong's talent is comparable to that of lying dragons and phoenixes. Lu Bu doesn't know how to hire people, and Fengnian wouldn't waste such a talented person. Not only Chen Gong, but also Zhang Wenyuan was one of the top handsome talents during the entire 3 Kingdoms period. Hefei's son 100000 sent him to the Wu Temple, which was naturally just a joke. Zhang Liao helped Cao Cao resist the northern expedition to the south and became the leader of the 5 good generals, which was accumulated through military achievements and talent. It goes without saying that Gao Shun and his faction are trapped. Although he already has the magnificent Snow Dragon Cavalry camp in his hands, there are only 800 people after all. This Snow Dragon Cavalry is already invincible on small and medium-sized battlefields, but it cannot conquer the world. What Fengnian needs now is troops and a team. Ding! Congratulations on completing the task. The task rewards 3,000 elite warriors. Unlock the next mission, establish a stronghold, and become a separatist force. Hey, just thinking about it, this system coincidentally set me a blueprint and policy. Fengnian calmed his emotions and bowed to Chen Gong, saying, "Mr. Gongtai, it is mentioned in my elder brother's family letter that a gentleman is truly talented. It was because he failed to listen to his master's plan that he ended up like this." Upon hearing this, Chen Gong couldn't help but strangle his wrist and sigh, "Alas." The defeat of Fengxian is due to Chen Gong's incompetence. Fengnian quickly spoke out and comforted, "Sir, there's no need to blame yourself. My elder brother asked me to come here because he wants me to inherit my legacy and achieve a grand ambition. But now that my older brother has passed away, although I intend to seek revenge, I am unable to support myself alone and lack the power of my team. Lu Fengnian said this and looked around at the people, saying, but I don't know if you all have ambitions. You are willing to help me avenge my brother, inherit his will, and jointly forge a hegemonic cause. Chen Gong, Zhang Liao, and Gao Shun glanced at each other, and their eyes met before reaching a consensus. So the three of them knelt down together, and Chen Gong spoke up, saying, the young master is already the younger brother of Marquis Wen. When we call you, the young master has already expressed our feelings. We have already sworn that this life and death will be loyal to Marquis Wen. Although Marquis Wen is dead now, fortunately, there is still the young master who inherits his will. I admire the young master for his outstanding talent, extraordinary demeanor, and unparalleled bravery in martial arts. Now that he has great ambitions, we must be fooled and pledged to serve him to the death. Chen Gong pays respects to the Lord. Zhang Liao pays his respects to the Lord. Gao Shun pays respects to the Lord. LV Fengnian was overjoyed at the sight and quickly helped everyone up one by one. Everyone, please rise up quickly. Fengnian can receive your help, why worry about not achieving hegemony? Now I have a military strategist named Chen Gong, a talented general named Zhang Liao, and a skilled military trainer named Gao Shun. This family background is already quite strong. Lord, the Chao bandits will not give up easily at the moment. We must capture a fortress as a stronghold in order to establish a stable foothold, accumulate strength, and compete with the heroes. What do you think, Lord? Chen Gong arched his hand and said. This statement is not only sincere, but also a passing test of my young master. What is his weight? There may be a gap in his chest. Lu Fengnian naturally understood and nodded with a smile, saying, Your Excellency is absolutely right. In times of chaos, one must establish their own home and establish a stronghold in order to be qualified to compete with the other heroes. First of all, we need to take advantage of Cao Cao's ability to capture the city of Xiapi. The defenders in the city are not yet firmly established, and our troops are launching a surprise attack to quickly capture it. The Chao bandits must have never imagined that we would dare to turn back and attack Xiapi. Upon hearing these words, Chen Gong frowned imperceptibly. LV Fengnian could see it clearly, but he didn't pay any attention and continued, My sole purpose for this attack on Xiapi is to recall all 700 trapped camps that originally belonged to General Gao Shun. As for the city of Xiapi, I have no interest in it at all. Besides, if the Chao bandits come to their senses and raise their troops to suppress it, they will be attacked on all sides. Even if Xiapi is easy to defend and difficult to attack, it will be difficult to resist the powerful Chao army. So, once we recall the trapped camp, we need to quickly withdraw our troops and leave an empty city for Cao Cao. As for our journey north to Youzhou, I have my own plans then. Chen Gong nodded happily at this moment and laughed, ha ha ha, the Lord indeed has a strategic mind. Unexpectedly, he coincided with the palace. Going north to Youzhou this time, I believe the Lord must have had the idea of the White Horse General, right? Lu Fengnian smiled and said, It's not my fault that Lu Fengnian has set his sights on Gong Xuanzan. Now that Yuan Shao is fighting closely with him, how long will he stay? They are fighting, so will be this fisherman. Chen Gong was even more surprised. This second brother of LV Bu was not only exceptionally powerful, but also had a more sophisticated strategy in his heart. He is truly the wise master. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Has anyone read this book? If someone is there, I'll be at 10 o'clock. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Has anyone read this book? If there is someone, I will explode even more. If there are still people, kneel down and beg for the support of all the readers. Use your little finger to give some flowers and evaluation tickets. These things are all free and refresh every day. If you don't give them away, they will be gone. If it's not enough, just give the author a word of encouragement in the comments section, even if it's a message like, 1. For every 100 more flowers, add 1 more. For every 100 more reviews, add 1 more. For every additional reward, there will also be an extra 1. For every 10 more comments, 1 update will also be added. One person can only browse 3 comments. So please kindly support the author. Thank you ** Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 5. Night attack on Xiapi and conquer the trapped camp. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. At this time, LV Fengnian also had the system summon 3,000 elite armored warriors. Everyone soon saw that not far away, thousands of armored warriors were gathering here in a mighty force. Zhang Liao and Gao Shun's faces changed and they instantly entered a state of alert, while Chen Gong also showed a worried expression. How could the thief Chao catch up so quickly? LV Fengnian quickly waved his hand and said, "Don't be nervous, everyone. This is the legitimate army of our general, 3,000 elite soldiers." Chen Gong was shocked and said, "I can't believe that besides this powerful and invincible heavy cavalry, my lord has such a strong army." Chen Gong couldn't help but be shocked. Whether it was the 800 Snow Dragon Cavalry or the 3,000 elite warriors, they were all top-notch combat troops in the world. However, I had never heard of it before. Lu Fengnian smiled and said, "The battlefield is charging forward, and my Snow Dragon Cavalry is naturally invincible. But if we want to break through the city and attack, we still need the help of these warriors. Dealing with different types of warfare and flexibly utilizing different types of troops is an essential ability for a commander." Chen Gong is becoming increasingly satisfied with this young master. "It's not too late, let's go down to Pai City now. The whole army is advancing at full speed." LV Fengnian held the Diao Chan beside him, stepped onto the warhorse, and with a command, the entire army quickly set out. Traveling 5 miles outside the city of Xiapi, LV Fengnian stopped his horse. The Snow Dragon Cavalry camp is stationed on site. When I take down the city of Xiapi and charge out again, I will coordinate the entire army's retreat. Then he took Diao Chan off his horse and whispered, "Sister-in-law, just wait here. With a big snow dragon riding, there won't be anything wrong." Diao Chan let out a soft hum. Lu Fengnian no longer stayed and led his army to launch a night attack on the city of Pai. As expected by LV Fengnian, the Chao army only captured the city of Xiapi, with limited defense. Moreover, no one expected LV Fengnian to make a comeback, so they were even more lax in defense. It was not until Lu Fengnian's army attacked the city that Chao's army realized, but it was already too late. The city gate was forcefully smashed open, and there were only 30,000 stationed troops in the city. LV Fengnian charged forward and opened a path, killing chickens and dogs along the way. 3,000 soldiers quickly followed up and charged recklessly, leaving no one to stop them. Zhang Liao and Gao Shun followed closely behind LV Fengnian and charged directly towards the rebel general Wei Su. Wei Shuban was a relative of LV Bu, and LV Bu highly valued him. The camp that was originally under the command of Gao Shun was assigned to Wei Shuban by LV Bu. However, Gao Shun was only responsible for training soldiers, and during the war, he could not do without commanding the trapped camp operations. Belonging to being deprived of military power and having to work hard, Gao Shun has never complained about this. Now the 700 trapped camps are in Wei Su's hands. When LV Fengnian rushed to Wei Su's face, Wei Su almost thought that LV Bu was reincarnated, and was so scared that his liver and gallbladder were splitting. The two brothers, Lu Bu, were originally legitimate brothers and looked very similar. They were both handsome and unparalleled handsome men. At this moment, Wei Su repeatedly kowtowed and begged for mercy, but LV Fengnian was completely indifferent to him and casually beheaded his head. A seller seeking glory and ungrateful villain, who has the right to seek survival. Zhang Liao and Gao Shun saw that LV Fengnian was so decisive in his campaign, and for a moment, they greatly appreciated him. Song Xian and Ho Cheng saw Wei Su being killed from a distance and knew something was amiss. They quickly rode their horses to escape. How could LV Fengnian let go so easily? No one who betrayed their big brother can escape. Take off the precious carving bow, shoot 2 arrows from 100 steps away, and both of them fall off their horses in response, both pierced by 1 arrow. Zhang Liao and Gao Shun's eyes lit up, and their archery skills were truly exquisite and unparalleled. At that time, LV Bu's shooting of halberds at the Yuan Gate had already been widely praised for his superb archery skills. Now LV Fengnian is shooting 2 arrows from 100 steps away, all hitting the target. It's really terrifying. After effortlessly killing 3 people, LV Fengnian turned to the 700 trapped soldiers in front of him and said, "Brothers trapped in the camp, I know you are all brave warriors loyal to my brother LV Bu. You are the ace and elite in my elder brother's hands. You shouldn't have fallen into the hands of the pig and dog generation like Wei Su. I am LV Fengnian, the second brother of LV Bu. I am willing to continue following my people, and I will lead you on a new journey. You can continue to be led by General Gao Shun." Upon hearing this, the soldiers of the 700 trapped camp knelt neatly in half to the ground, each with a firm gaze. "May I die to serve the Lord." The soldiers trapped in the camp have long disliked villains like Wei Su, but as a superior, they cannot disobey military orders. Now they see LV Fengnian's abilities very well, even more so than LV Bu. Moreover, they can continue to be led by their instructor Gao Shun, which is naturally beyond our expectations. Okay. Everyone, come with me. LV Fengnian took the lead and rushed out towards the city gate, while the others quickly followed. The entire city of Xiapi, Cao Cao's 30,000 defenders were almost completely killed and injured. 5 miles outside the city, the sound of Cao Cao's reinforcements could already be heard from behind. The Baimen Tower in Xiapi City is not far away, and it is not surprising that reinforcements have arrived so quickly. After the heavy Snow Dragon Cavalry was cut off, LV Fengnian saw Diao Chan guarding his arms and leading his army northward. Cao Cao's army rushed into the city of Xiapi, and by this time the city was empty. Where could we see the shadow of LV Fengnian's army? And LV Fengnian has already led his troops to Youzhou. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 6. The fame of LV Fengnian resounds throughout the land of Kyushu. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. A few days later, in the year of LV Feng, the second brother of LV Bu, the god of war was born, and the news spread widely that he had defeated Cao Cao, saved the old members of LV Bu, and hanged the generals of Cao camp. All the heroes were shocked upon hearing it. Sitting in the land of Hebei, Yuan Benchu, who had already obtained the 3 provinces of Qinghe, Binghe, and Jizhou and had 4 generations and 3 dukes, received this news and his eyes widened. Lu Bu actually has a younger brother. Cao Amon's subordinates are also considered to be skilled soldiers, even killing the invincible LV Bu in the world. Surprisingly, they couldn't leave behind an unknown LV Bu's second brother. Counselor Tian Fenggong said in a respectful voice, "Lord, it's not just that. I heard that this son rescued the old members of LV Bu in the afternoon and unexpectedly turned back at night, attacking Xiapi City at night. This courage is already very impressive, and more importantly, he has succeeded. With only 3,000 elite soldiers, they captured the city of Xiapi, where 30,000 Cao troops were stationed. They did not covet the city, but quickly withdrew their troops. When Cao Cao's reinforcements arrived, there was only an empty city, where could there be a half-figure of LV Fengnian? Yuan Shao was surprised and said, "What? How could LV Fengnian still be so handsome?" Counselor Zhu nodded and said, "That's right, this son is brave and strategic, and he may not be comparable to the ordinary Lu Bu." Yuan Benchu couldn't help but caress his beard and sigh, such an unparalleled fierce general is not only 10 times better than Yan Liang's literary and ugly character. At this moment, the strategist Su Yu stepped out and said leisurely, "Lord, LV Fengnian is such a young and talented person, it can be said that he has not seen him in 100 years. If such a brave and intelligent general can be used by the Lord, why worry about not achieving hegemony?" Upon hearing this, Yuan Shao's eyes lit up. What Ziyuan said is absolutely right. Yuan Shao loves talent the most, although later generations have criticized him for being stubborn, jealous of the wise, and ignorant of others. But no one denies Yuan Benchu's love for talent, and it is not an exaggeration to say that he respects the wise and virtuous. Su Yu's words this time, but they really made him not tempted. If we have LV Fengnian in our hands, who can resist the battles of the south and north? Su Yu's archenemy Tian Feng said, "The idea is very good. But Lord, as far as I know, that LV Fengnian held an invincible white-robed army, with 3,000 elite armored soldiers, and LV Bu's ace army trapped in a camp. And with the assistance of Qin Gong Tai, if he doesn't establish his own family, would he be willing to rely on others?" After listening to Tian Feng's words, Yuan Shao nodded and said, "What Yuan Hao said also makes sense." Su Yu glanced at Tian Feng with disdain and said, "Tian Yuanhao is really short-sighted. Now that LV Bu has been killed by Cao Cao, all his family resources have been taken by Cao Cao. Apart from being trapped in the camp, LV Fengnian has no more soldiers or soldiers of LV Bu, let alone a place to defend. At this moment, I extended a helping hand, borrowed troops and food, and helped him fight against Cao. It was good to win over him, but why didn't this rootless duckweed take advantage of the situation and rely on the Lord?" Everyone inside the tent nodded in agreement. Yuan Shao laughed and said, "Ziyuan is really my strategist. If you can really recruit LV Fengnian, you should take the lead." Upon hearing that Cao Cao had been ruined by LV Fengnian on the Huainan-Yuan highway, he gloated and said, "Cao Munda has such a formidable enemy, I'm afraid he won't be able to survive. This LV Bu has already surpassed the world in bravery. Unexpectedly, his younger brother is even more victorious than him. This is another headache-inducing stumbling block." Upon hearing these words, Sun Tzu, the little overlord of Jiangdong, couldn't help but be secretly shocked. Liu Bu's military prowess is already unbeatable, and now he has even produced a second brother Liu Fengnian, who is powerless to fight against the generals of the Cao camp. There is such a terrifying general in the world. Lu Biao from Jingzhou climbed up to the city and looked into the distance, murmuring, "I didn't expect Lu Bu to have a younger brother. With such force, who is the hero of the world against?" General Kai Mao arrogantly said, "Why does Lord have the ambition of others? How can we believe such rumors?" Lu Biao glared angrily and said, "What do you know? How shameless an owl like Cao Cao is. If we can let this news spread, I'm afraid the real situation will make him even more disheartened. How long has it been since there was a war in the land of Jingzhou? The soldiers are neglecting their training every day and often slack off. Why don't you go to the military camp and practice well?" Kai Mao's face was full of resentment, but he dared not say much, and he bowed down with a gloomy expression. Ma Tingsu from Xiliang had a good relationship with Cao Cao and couldn't help but sigh. Meng Dishu, this great enemy, is afraid to stay up all night and have difficulty sleeping and eating. What a brave Liu Fengnian, even more brave than Liu Bu, the tiger of Jiuyuan. Han Sui said with a worried expression, "Lord, this Liu Fengnian alone can defeat 1,000 soldiers. He is arrogant and invincible in the Cao camp. Moreover, he dares to surprise the city of Pai at night and quickly withdraw his troops northward. From this perspective, this person is quite strategic and familiar with the art of war. Now with the assistance of Chen Gong, who is providing advice from the side, it is probably more dangerous than Lu Bu. Ma Teng waved his hand and said, none of them are ordinary people. After the death of one LV Bu and the arrival of another LV Fengnian, this LV family really knows how to have a son. Han Sui smiled at the words and said, why do you envy other Kirins, my lord? Although Meng Qi is young, his physical strength is astonishing, and everyone in the military praises his innate divine general. When Meng Qi grows up, he may not necessarily lose to that LV Fengnian. Ma Ting couldn't help but laugh and said, Meng Qi's achievements in the future will be 10 times better than mine. Lu Fengnian is heading north, and no one knows what he plans to do. Let's be prepared as soon as possible. This is not a good person to pass the time with. For a moment, the name of LV Fengnian resounded throughout the land of Kyushu. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 7. Going north to Youzhou, no one can stop it. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Lu Fengnian led 800 Snow Dragon Cavalry to charge for thousands of miles, sweeping along the way. Along the way, any army that came to intercept under the orders of Cao Cao's army was completely defeated. Gao Shun led the formation camp to coordinate and take turns charging. Zhang Liao led the remaining 2,000 armored soldiers to closely follow the 2 heavy cavalry, protecting Chen Palace and Diaochan. Cao Cao, who had already returned to Xuchang, received continuous reports of war for several days, but never a single victory was reported. Waste. It's all waste. Thousands of soldiers and horses are rampaging across my territory, like entering an uninhabited territory. What's the use of me raising you trash? Once again, Cao Cao, who received the war report, angrily threw away the wine bottle in his hand. The people in the main hall trembled and dared not look up to face Cao Cao in anger. Only Sun Yu bravely stepped forward and said, Lord, please calm down. Lu Fengnian himself had already surpassed the world in terms of military strength, and even General Su Chu suffered losses in his hands. Upon hearing these words, Su Chu's expression was very unnatural. Mr. Wenrua is quite talkative and has saved me some face. I just suffered a little loss. If it weren't for the support of the Xiahou brothers and Li Jianle from the side, I wouldn't have entrusted my life to LV Fengnian. Sigh. Sun Yu ignored the expressions of the generals and continued, Lord, even the tiger idiot is still like this. How can those state and county governors resist? Not to mention that LV Fengnian still has the invincible white-robed army in his hands, as well as LV Bu's trapped camp. With the remaining 2,000 armored elite soldiers, they are the elite soldiers who have captured the city of Xiapi with 30,000 defenders. If even tigers, leopards, and cavalry are unable to establish any achievements, there is no need to rely on the state and county soldiers. Not to mention it's okay, when it comes to this, Cao Cao becomes more and more angry as he listens. Waste. It's all waste. I have risen up from Chen Lu's army, attacking cities and villages all the way, without any hindrance. Strong and invincible like LV Bu, our army is also under pressure, captured alive. Nowadays, with only a few thousand soldiers and horses, LV Fengnian has left our entire army helpless. It's a great shame. Guojia, who had been sitting steadily on the side and had not spoken, stood up and said, Please be calm, my lord. LV Bu is only a man of valor and lacks the wisdom to recognize others. Even with the assistance of Chen Gong, he is definitely not a match for the lord, which is why he died tragically. But this year of LV Fengnian, although he is young and has not yet reached the crown, his bravery can be said to be unparalleled in ancient and modern times. More importantly, this is a clever opponent. Master, you must not underestimate the enemy, let alone treat them lightly. Although this son only has a few thousand soldiers and horses, Feng Shao feels that he is 10 times more dangerous than LV Bu who once held Shuzhou. The strategist under Cao Cao's command, most favored by Cao Cao, is Guo Fengshao. After listening to Guo Jia's words, Cao Cao calmed down a bit and then slowly sat down. You're right about being gentle and filial. Although LV Fengnian is too young, he is indeed not comparable to those like Lu Bu. That white-robed army has unparalleled combat power, it can be said to be magnificent in the world. I'm so envious. I was careless and underestimated the enemy. I just defeated LV Bu, but my mentality was a bit frivolous and I lost my composure. Seeing Cao Cao calm down, the mastermind Sun Yu respectfully stepped out and said, Your Highness, don't worry. I see that LV Fengnian has been heading north all the way, so I'm sure he's not here. He's already prepared to go north to seek help. The Lord may as well push the boat along with the current and strictly prohibit all states and counties from obstructing it. Anyway, if it cannot be stopped, it will only be considered invisible. Let them leave and reduce unnecessary casualties. The north is now bustling with activity, and Yuan Shao and Gongsun Zan are going to have a decisive battle. It's better to put the evil tiger LV Fengnian up and fight them. We just need to keep our spirits up and let the northern beasts fight wildly, the more chaotic the better. When the situation in the north is about to be divided, the Lord can send elite and foreign troops to launch a surprise attack, one by one breaking through. After listening to Sun Yu's words, Cao Cao burst out laughing and twisted his beard with joy, saying, You are truly my mastermind. After listening to your words, I just had a sudden enlightenment. There are many wise men and fierce generals under my account. There is no need to fight against that child, it should be such a battle of wits and courage. Pass the order, no state or county can obstruct LV Fengnian, let him go north. Cao Cao was in a good mood and immediately summoned a singer. The hall was filled with singing and dancing. The civil and military officials finally breathed a sigh of relief when they saw that Cao Cao's mood had really improved. So they each drank and had fun, creating a joyful atmosphere. At this moment, the three brothers Lu Guan and Zhang are growing spinach in their own mansion. Big brother, I just received the news that Cao Cao has ordered all the prefectures not to intercept LV Fengnian's northward journey. Guan Yu held the bucket and walked while speaking. Liu Bei also hummed while flipping the soil. Zhang Fei, who took up a wine bowl and drank it all in one gulp in the pavilion, frowned and said, Big brother, you're digging and planting vegetables in the mansion every day. That's not a big deal. How much money can I sell for growing vegetables? It's better for me to earn money as a butcher. Liu Bei reached out to wipe the sweat off his forehead, glanced at Zhang Fei, shook his head and smiled, You silly guy, don't be so talkative. Hurry up and get the vegetable seedlings. Zhang Fei reluctantly put down his wine bowl and went to get the vegetable seedlings. Guan Yu stroked his beard and said with a smile, Third brother is the most calm and composed. Liu Bei, however, had a serious expression on his face. He looked up at the sky and lowered his head, saying, Yun Chang, we don't have much time to spend our leisure like this. If Cao Cao had not taken into account his reputation, I'm afraid we would have been separated by now. At this moment, even if you haven't made up your mind to take action, but your killing intent has already risen, it's like turning the tide over the water. Guan Yu was greatly surprised at the words. Big brother, what are you saying? Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 8. Chao Lu's Centrifuge, Lu Fengnian soldier encounters Julu. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Zhang Fei, who came back with the vegetable seedlings, was also taken aback when he heard Liu Bei's words. Big brother, Cao Cao treated us quite well. Why did he suddenly want to kill us? Guan Yu was puzzled and said. Yeah, big brother. Although Cao Cao doesn't appeal to me, he treats us with good wine and meat, why would he kill us? Liu Bei put down his hoe and sighed. The two wise brothers underestimated that Cao Cao. Cao Cao is a traitor of the time, holding the emperor hostage to command the feudal lords with the intention of unifying the world. Although our brothers have defected, they are not in the following identities, but as allies. How could he not know that my three brothers' aspirations are not here, and they will not stay below others for a long time? Since we know, if we're holding it in his hand now, let him flatten it and twist it into a circle. Why not effortlessly eliminate a future competitor? Guan Yu frowned and remained silent. Zhang Fei is a straightforward person who can't hide his words. He quickly asked, Big brother is right, why hasn't Cao Cao started yet? Liu Bei said with a serious expression, we are all here to seek refuge. Cao Cao wants to maintain a good reputation as a courteous servant, so he naturally cannot kill us now. But it doesn't mean they won't kill us in the future. Two wise brothers, we need to make plans early. Before that, we must hide our shortcomings, not show our sharpness, and not make Cao Cao feel threatened. That's why we have to do nothing to dig and grow vegetables. Zhang Fei is not really a fool. Liu Bei had already talked about it, so he naturally knew that his brothers were digging and planting vegetables for several days to show to Cao Cao. So the three brothers took a break and continued to grow vegetables. At this moment, Cao Cao was at his mansion, waiting for all the guests to leave, leaving only a few trusted advisors, Sun Yu and Wuxia, by his side. Ladies and gentlemen, Suzhou has been destroyed, and Lvbu has died. Whether Liu Bei is killing or staying, let's talk about it. Before, one of you asked me to kill, another asked me to use, and the other asked me to use first and then kill. How should we deal with it now? Sun Yu stood out and said, Lord, now that Suzhou has been broken, Liu Bei's life and death are actually no longer important. It's better to save his life and demonstrate the Lord's intention to recruit talents, so as to attract more talents to come and contribute. Cao Cao nodded his beard and turned to look at Wuxia. What is the view of filial piety? Guofeng Shao, a Confucian scholar in a blue robe, exclaimed astonishingly, kill. Lord, Liu Bei has a deep mind and great ambition. Guojiayue has seen countless people, but unfortunately, this person makes it difficult for me to understand. Also, regarding Zhang Erjiang's help, how could Lu Xuanda be a thing in the pool? Such hidden dangers must be eradicated as soon as possible. Guo Jiasheng has a free-spirited personality and shares the same spirit as Cao Cao. When speaking, he is straightforward and straightforward. Sun Yu and Guo Jia are both their top think tanks, and now one is talking about staying and the other is talking about killing. Both of them make a lot of sense. Cao Cao was also difficult to make a decision at the moment. But after all, Liu Bei came to seek refuge with him. If he kills me without reason, how should the people of the world evaluate me, Cao Mengda? Killing is definitely necessary, but the time has not come yet, so we cannot take action for now. Cao Cao looked at Sun Yu again, who smiled and said, Your lord has already made a decision in his heart, why ask me? Cao Cao laughed heartily and said, So, Gongda also has this view. Sun Yu bowed and smiled, Your Majesty is wise. So Cao Cao made up his mind and said, Let's keep those three brothers for now. If we kill them now, they will inevitably be criticized. When the time is right, find a reason to get rid of it. Since it's in my hands, he can't even make waves. At the same time, Fengnian traveled all the way to the north, passing through the territory of Yuan Shao in Yizhou. This is Yuan Shao's headquarters, and Fengnian cannot move yet. However, although we cannot make too much noise, engage in small fights, and capture one or two cities, it is still harmless. After all, although there are few soldiers and horses on hand, they still need to eat. Although the military supplies have been killed all the way and obtained a lot from Cao Cao, they have also been almost exhausted. It was originally a rapid march, where can we bring too much supplies? With 800 heavy Snow Dragon Cavalry in hand, 700 trapped in the camp, and 2,000 armored soldiers all in combat units. Where can we manage logistics? The more than 2,000 auxiliary soldiers responsible for logistic support were still the old troops of LV Bu who came all the way and voluntarily followed them. My team of over 5,000 people, after such a long journey, should also take a good rest. The city chosen by LV Fengnian is quite interesting. Yuizhou. Julu. Lu Fengnian was stationed at the foot of Julu city, and the defending general Tao Xing climbed up to the city and looked at it. At first, he was startled. The heavy cavalry with a white horse and white robe is exceptionally majestic and powerful. Could it be that Gongsun Zan brought the white horse righteousness from here to kill? How could this be possible? However, upon closer inspection, it was discovered that it was not a white horse who followed the army, but rather a young general with black armor and a black horse wielding a spear. Tao Xing let go of his worries, but when he saw the following 2,000 elite armored soldiers and another imposing heavy cavalry unit, his face instantly became unnatural. The garrison of Julu city is only 20,000 soldiers. Look at the troops under the city, they are all elite. How can we defend them? But soon he became happy again, because he found that there were only a few thousand people and horses in the city, and there were no follow-up troops. Tao Xing suddenly felt that he had done it, put on his armor, picked up his weapons, and led 10,000 soldiers and horses out of the city to face the battle. What a newborn calf is not afraid of tigers. I don't know where the young general came from, but he dares to attack our Julu city with just a few thousand soldiers and horses. He looks down upon no one. Today I want you to know Grandpa's prowess. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 9. Julu changes owner, Yuan Shao angers. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Tao Xing is just an unknown lower-ranking general, and if Qin Gong had not told LV Fengnian, he would not have known about him. At this time, LV Fengnian rode alone in front, with Qin Gong and Zhang Liao standing on either side behind him. Gao Shan, with his trapped camp, faced Julu city in a horns-like manner with LV Fengnian's great Snow Dragon Cavalry. The Julu garrison General Tao Xing came out with 10,000 soldiers and horses, dressed in battle armor and dressed in a majestic manner. Tao Xing looked at the slightly weak military strength on LV Fengnian's side and arrogantly smiled. Where did you come from? You dare to ride a horse, wield a sword, and play a gun before weaning. Come and kowtow and acknowledge your father. I beg General to spare your life. LV Fengnian gave a contemptuous smile, as if he was a living and drinking bag. However, this time LV Fengnian did not move, and Zhang Liao behind him was already burning with anger. He leaped forward with his sword and rushed out. Unknown rat generation. How dare and play with his authority in front of you? Hurry up and suffer. Zhang Liao was one of the most famous generals in the entire Three Kingdoms. In his rage, his imposing demeanor shook people's hearts and souls. Tao Xing was so scared that he took a few steps back and quickly shouted at the deputy general beside him, "Why don't you quickly stop this thief?" The two deputy generals dared not disobey the order and rushed forward together. When the three horses staggered and separated, two heads fell to the ground. Zhang Liao's swordsmanship can compete with Guan Yu for dozens of rounds, isn't it something these unknown generals can resist? LV Fengnian watched this scene with great interest. Okay. General Wen Yuan is truly a hero. And Tao Xing over there had already turned pale with fear, turning his horse's head and about to escape. Withdraw. Withdraw quickly. The thief is fierce, quickly withdraw to the city. Zhang Liao saw that Tao Xing was about to run, so he quickly chased after him and shouted sternly, "Rats, don't leave." The 10,000 defenders bravely rushed forward to surround Zhang Liao, buying time for Tao Xing to escape. Zhang Liao could only fight and retreat for a while. LV Fengnian narrowed his eyes slightly, took off the precious carving bow, drew the bow and set an arrow, shining an arrow on Tao Xing's back. What is the distance between these 200 steps? Moreover, there are surging defensive blocks in the middle. However, how could LV Fengnian handle it with common sense? The feather arrow shot steadily in a straight line, penetrating several soldiers continuously without diminishing its power. After Tao Xing's heart sank, it flew out of his chest. Under Tao Xing's crotch, the warhorse is still galloping, and the person has fallen to the ground and died. The Lord is mighty. The Lord is mighty. The soldiers on LV Fengnian's side saw this arrow and shouted excitedly one by one. Zhang Liao, Gao Shun, and others who had witnessed LV Fengnian's exquisite archery were once again shocked. Our young master, we really don't know where the limit lies. Lu Fengnian casually put away the carved bow, pulled out the sky dragon broken city halberd inserted on the ground, and galloped forward with his horse. Charge the entire army and capture Julu. But if there is resistance, kill to death. With a command, 2 unparalleled heavy riders behind charged at full speed. 2,000 elite armored soldiers also rushed forward with a murderous spirit. Lu Fengnian took the lead and killed several defenders who surrounded Zhang Liao. With the help of the power of the Overlord, the Tianlong broken city halberd broke through 10 shields in a row, and flesh and blood flew everywhere it passed. The defenders of Julu were already scared out of their wits. They quickly threw away their weapons and knelt down. The defenders in the city also showed no resistance and obediently opened the city gate, kneeling to welcome the new lord of Julu city. LV Fengnian led the way into the city, followed closely by Qingong and Zhang Liao. Not far from the city, 2,000 auxiliary soldiers also escorted Diao Chan into the city slowly. Julu city, the Battle of Julu, the King of Chu, determined the world in one battle. Since I have inherited the power of the Overlord's ghosts and gods and happen to pass through Julu, then it is heaven who wants me, LV Fengnian, to come and play tricks. Finally, you can take a break. The next day, Yuan Shao, who was leading his army to the front line and about to have a final battle with Gongsun Zan, received an emergency military report from the rear. How unreasonable. What does LV Fengnian mean? Surprisingly attacked my Guizhou headquarters while I was away. Julu city has a total of 20,000 defenders left behind, but surprisingly, they were captured in less than an hour. I've heard that LV Fengnian's heavy white horse and white robe are exactly the same as Gongsun Zan's white horse and righteous followers. Is it really related to Gongsun Zan? Is it difficult for the two armies to unite and attack me in a pincer attack? How could Yuan Shao not be angry? This Youzhou Gongsun Zan was already a difficult bone to gnaw on. After fighting for so long, he was finally about to determine the final victory or defeat. Now, he has been stormed into the rear headquarters by LV Fengnian, causing trouble. It's hard for anyone to bear it in their hearts. Counselor Tian Feng approached and comforted, "Master, don't worry. Lu Fengnian's long-distance attack from Shuzhou was inevitably due to the depletion of military supplies, which is why he came up with this strategy of capturing Julu for recuperation. Let's see if he has any further actions to take before making a decision. It's best for this person not to be an enemy." Suyu and Tian Feng had a rare moment of unity this time, and he arched his hand and said, "Lord, what Tian Yuanhao said is reasonable. If LV Fengnian is not an enemy, try not to provoke him. However, it's just a small town of Julu, and the Lord should lend him a few days to stay temporarily. If he stops at this point, the Lord can write a letter to show his intention of friendship. Then, he can form an alliance, recruit and slowly plan accordingly. If he takes every inch and has the intention to attack, how big a storm can he stir up with just a few thousand soldiers and horses? At that time, all you need to do is send a general to lead tens of thousands of elite soldiers back to our Lord's territory, and close the door and beat the dog." Tian Feng and Suyu came up with suggestions one after another, and Yuan Shao finally calmed down a bit. Humph. This little kid is so arrogant and arrogant. The final battle is imminent, let him do it for now. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th.